Good morning to you this morning. Let's get this camera turned around. Let's get going. As you can see, I'm all dressed up, ready to run outside. We'll see if I actually make it out there, or if I just, or if I just head over into the living room right here and just do some T25. I know I'm going to sweat this morning. But I haven't really made up my mind on exactly how I'm going to do it this morning. Getting started running in the wintertime, it's a little bit tougher than getting started running in the springtime. So we'll see. I haven't really made up my mind, but I'm committed to, getting up and exercising in some way or another this morning. I have a feeling it's going to be right there in the relative comfort of a warmer place anyway, in the house, since the heat has kicked on since 6 o'clock now in the morning for me to do my exercise inside the house. In any case, I digress. Welcome this morning. I see a couple of you have joined already. I appreciate you jumping online. Wanted to continue in the vein that I've been in for the past few scopes. Here I am on day 22 now of this miracle morning journey. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Did some reading already this morning. So part of that process is already done, and I'll continue to move forward after we finish this scope. But yeah, excited this morning. Good night's sleep. Had about 5.5 hours maybe of sleep. Feel rested actually this morning. It's amazing after your body now gets used to getting up. 5:30 comes around and I'm up. I'm out of the bed. Of course, I woke up this morning around 4, between 4 and 4:30, and had to go back to sleep. But 5:30 came around, the alarm went off, and I was up. So here we are, moving forward. But I've been talking about retirement. For those who don't know me, Kofi Ford. I've been doing this now for 22 days, as I mentioned, or this is day 22 of this Miracle Morning process, which comes from a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Highly recommend it. Pick it up. It's life-changing stuff, just like any other self-help book if you actually utilize it. And here I am utilizing this thing, using it. The intent is to do this for the rest of my life. So we'll see how far we get with these daily scopes. Maybe there'll be some new technology that comes out. I know we did a live stream yesterday, a dual broadcast on Periscope and live stream. Facebook Live is coming out now. So we may start to use that here as well. So we'll see what happens. But in any case, enjoying the process, loving this very much. I've been talking about lately retirement, specifically as it relates to you, not for me. I've got a background, corporate America. I was in consulting, doing specifically retirement, about 18 years. Did work in both pension. I'm saying both. I did work in pension, 401k, health and welfare, billing. What else did I do? Oh, executive benefits as well. So I'm going to talk about all those things to help you understand the complete picture of retirement, and also help you to understand the difference between retiring as an employee and retiring as an executive, or the things that are available to you when you are self-employed. Completely different worlds, absolutely night and day. We're still on the employee side of things. We talked about pension, we talked about 401k. I'm going to go a little bit further today. I think this will be day 3 talking about the 401k because there's so much information here. Everybody knows about them. I think most people are using the 401k. And I did some statistics a few days ago. Go back and look at the old scopes on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Kofi Ford. Or you can also go to my YouTube page as well and find those videos. In any case, we've been talking about 401k plans, and I wanted to talk about some of the downsides. And it's really a big one, in my opinion. I don't know about you all, but you look at if you're an employee, you get that paycheck, and you can see your 401k deductions coming out of there. But you also see Uncle Sam already got paid. You did all the work, and Uncle Sam got paid, and then you got your paycheck with the rest of it. Welcome, Deborah. Good to see you this morning. It's always interesting to see paycheck day and to see that the government got X percentage of that paycheck. And of course, the more money you make, of course, the larger share that the federal government is getting from that paycheck. I remember looking at my paycheck when I was working in corporate America, and it was always upsetting to me to see that the government got their check first, and it was so great. When I got that first check of being self-employed and expecting to get a certain sum of money, and there it was, every single penny of it on the check. And at the end of the year, after I paid all my expenses for operating the business, it's so great. All right, well, make sure you get some rest, Deborah. I appreciate you coming online this morning. Hope Indianapolis is not too cold this morning, because it's a little bit chilly down here in Atlanta, Georgia. I think for us, it's chilly, it's cold. You can see me in my running attire right now. It's in the 40s, I believe, outside right now. In any case, I appreciate you coming online. In any case, jumping back into the 401k side, it was, getting off of the tax side of things. Welcome, J.A. Clements. Appreciate you coming online. Love to see where you're tuning in from. It was always interesting to see how much the federal government took. Welcome, Yaya 35. I'd love to again see where you're tuning in from on the broadcast. So let's jump right onto this. I think I've given you enough. Some more I'm with you, Deborah. You came in a little bit later. That's why I said I'm arguing with myself right now. Detroit, welcome. I'm arguing with myself about actually running outside or just walking over a few feet over into the living room and doing some T25 this morning. PST DeVH. Not sure if I butchered that, but welcome this morning. Love to see where you're coming from. Ghana. My name is Kofi. I'm not from Ghana, but I know you're well familiar with the origins of that name being from Ghana. So let's jump into this. I think I've delayed it long enough. Appreciate everybody coming online. Let's get right into this topic. Pastor David, welcome, Pastor. All right, welcome, Pastor. Let's jump into this. So the 401k side, I've talked about it for a few days. Let's go into the downside of this. Yes, it's my dad was a musician back in the late 60s, early 70s, and he had been touring around. He came in contact with the name during that point in time in his lifetime, and gave me the name since I was born on a Friday. So perfect fit, of course, for me being born on a Friday. I could go into a whole lot more. I guess as I do more of these scopes, you'll all start to get a whole lot more, I'm sure, of my background. But feel free to ask any questions. I have no problems answering these. So 401ks. Okay, 401ks. So on the downside of 401ks, yes, they're a great tool that you can utilize for your retirement, especially if you look at it as a tool. Here's the downside. Okay, and remember, as long as you're an employee, the federal government, just like your paycheck, this is why I mentioned it, just like your paycheck, the federal government wants to make sure they get access to the taxation from your income. That income, if you're deferring it, is going to be in your retirement. So they're going to tax you in your retirement. I mentioned this yesterday, just like regular income. And then they'll tax you on the capital gain side for the interest that you accrued from those investments. So thinking about the fact that the federal government wants to get taxes, the penalties that they give you. Now, I always think this is absolutely hilarious because this is a federal program that's out there, but here they advertise it as a tool, as a benefit for, working class people, but they tax the crap out of you if you ever come into any kind of hardship in your life and need to access those funds. This is one of the reasons why I don't like the 401k. It's your money that you put aside for your retirement. But God forbid you lose a job, you have some type of medical issue that comes up, or something changes, some event happens in your life, and you need to access those funds. One, it's hard to get it. You got to go through, making a hardship request or going through the process, filling out all this paperwork to go in and trying to get some type of approval to get access to those funds. You have a limitation on how much money you can actually pull from those accounts as well. And then when you do pull out the money, you can take a loan, yes, buy a house, but we'll come back to that in a second. You need to actually pull out that money. The government's going to make you pay a penalty for accessing that money before your retirement. 10% penalty for accessing that money. Why? Why do you have to pay a penalty? I understand the money's for your retirement. I understand that. But, if you're putting the money in a savings plan, for your retirement, it's still for your retirement. If you're putting in some other type of vehicle for retirement, it's still for your retirement. Why did they tax you on the 401k? You see, what they did, in essence, you deferred that money from when you were supposed to take it. They were supposed to have gained access to those funds as soon as they were paid out to you. And you said, no, I'm going to defer this chunk to a later point in time. And the federal government now says, okay, I don't know how many years it was, maybe since you deferred that money, we're going to tax you on it and we're going to make you pay a penalty for the deferral period that you had in there. Come on. Does that make any sense to you? Makes no sense to me. So you got a penalty for doing that. Second, so you got the penalty for taking out the funds early. You got to pay the taxes on it. And if you take a loan, the second side, you take a loan on that money. Let's say you want to buy a house. Okay, great. I think buying a house is a great tool for you. It's the largest liability you ever have in your life. But if it's used wisely, it can actually be a great tool, especially if you pay it off early. But in any case, you take out a loan from that. You now got to pay yourself interest, and it sounds like a great thing. Oh, I'm taking my money out, but and I'm going to have to pay interest on all the money that I put it back into that account. Welcome, Glory Dave. Appreciate you joining online. I definitely love to see where you're tuning in from. So now you got all this, the interest that you're paying on that money back into your account. You took a loan from it, and you've got to pay back over time, month after month, interest, not just paying the money back into the account, but interest as well. I tell you, you got to look into some other things. If you have a self-directed IRA, I've been talking about these for a while now. Self-directed IRA, there's some great advantages to it. One, you've got immediate access to that money. It's basically a bank account, if you will, and you can actually pull money from that account. You just pay it back over a period of time, and there are no penalties for doing that. I mean, you can pay yourself back with interest should you choose, but all you have to do is put the money back into the account. You got a certain period of time for which you can actually utilize that money. So loans are much easier to get to. You need access to that money. Something happens in your lifetime. You got an event that comes up where you need to access the money. It's not the same issue to go through. You don't have to go to anyone else. Welcome, Jay Clements back. Appreciate you coming online with us this morning. The tool is so much more advantageous to you than the 401k. And I tell you, this is one of the things that's available to those who are self-employed. And I tell folks, it's great to have a job. It's great to use a 401k. Always tell people invest up to the match percentage that the company has. So if they go up to 4% of your income, you need to make sure you're contributing at that level. But also, I always tell folks, find something you can do on the side. This ties into everything I tell people about having multiple streams of income. Don't have just the employment revenue, but have something as well that you're doing on the side. I don't care what it is. I really don't care what it is. But have something, some type of side business, some type of way to generate some additional income. It could be $100 a month. It could be $1,000 a month that you're making on the side. But I tell you, if that money is just extra money that you can use for vacation over the year, or some other, whether or not you're paying for schools, whether or not you pay for a nice dinner every single month, whatever the case is, use that money on the side to do something very nice for yourself. But here's the great advantage. Now that you've got a business, so you incorporate, you created an LLC, it costs you about $125 to do this very simple process to set up. You create the LLC, and because now you have a business, you can create a self-directed IRA for yourself. Here's what's great about it. You can now start to contribute money to that account on the side of what you're doing. So pull all those funds into a self-directed IRA. I'll talk more about this because I'm going to be wrapping up here soon to keep these scopes short. But now you can actually take money and invest that. It'll be, how do you start it? I'm going to talk about that, Jay Clements. So tune back and maybe I'll talk about this even tomorrow. But they're very simple to do. They're companies that you can actually go through who will create it all for you. They do all the paperwork for you. I mean, literally, you call them up, you tell them what you want to do, you give them your company's name. Again, starting the company is about $125. I'm not sure if you need help or you have questions with starting the the company or with starting or opening the self-directed IRA. So I'd love to know more. You have an LLC? Oh man. Okay. Look up self-directed IRAs. I'm not sure where you may be in the country. I've got one, Midland IRA. Excuse me. Look up Midland IRA. I need to talk about them. I need to talk to them about referring them online because I'm not sure how many people may go to them after I mention their names. But Midland IRA, look them up. They've got a website. They will actually do everything for you. You have to pay them a fee for getting it started, and that's fine. And you pay a service fee once a year for actually having the account open. I tell you, it's absolutely great to use. Yeah, definitely look them up. Definitely look them up. But yeah, they do all the paperwork for you. In the end, what happens, you get a packet of information. You take it to a bank. It could be your local bank, and they will actually open a new bank account for you. And that bank account will be your IRA. All an IRA is an account. It's a place to hold stuff. Okay. And that stuff could be bonds, stocks, other investment tools, mutual funds. It could be mortgage notes. It could also be mortgage deeds for homes. I mean, you got the whole gambit now available to you to actually invest in. So, all the advantages of the 401k, the things you get to invest in, they're there. But now you get this whole other area, excuse me, where you can actually lend money to people. You can be a bank, in essence, to other individuals. Now, if you're in tune with the advancements that are going on economically in your local city, you can tune in, you can tap in to investors who are going into the city, who are bringing up property values, who are buying houses and renovating them. You can get partnered up with them. We have this as well for my real estate company. It's one of the ways that we actually, do our business. Whereas an investor, we will actually, we will actually utilize the funds of private individuals instead of a bank. Hear this. Most people are aware of banks and going to banks and getting money. But as an investor, it behooves us to not go through banks. Banks, you've got a lot of paperwork. It takes time to generate all the funds from a bank. And as an investor, it's all about closing quickly. 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. Get in, get out, right? So we have private partners who will actually front us the cash. And in return, what we do is we give them a guaranteed return on their money. Up front, they'll get a certain percentage. And then once the project is finished, they'll get their principal capital as well as a return on their investment. So on average, they're getting 2 points up front and about 10% return on their money. Now, if you find a place on the stock market where you can do that, tell me. You're very well, you're familiar with it, Jay Clemens. Absolutely. Private lenders are absolutely wonderful. They're the heartbeat of the real estate investing world. It just makes sense. Folks who have access to capital, who may be looking at retirement, who may be looking at growing their capital for retirement, they can put that money in the stock market and deal with the ups and the downs and the volatility that's there. They can deal with maybe getting 2% return, 5%, 6% return over the course of the year on that money. Or they can partner up with local real estate investors, or it doesn't have to be local. You can partner up with real estate investors that you trust. Lend out money. You get a deed. You actually go into place of a first lien position, just like a bank would on the house. You get up front at closing, or at the end, depending on how everything's structured. But you have in front a deed, a note, a promissory note that says, and it's attached to real estate, which is phenomenal. It says, I'm going to pay you as an investor X percent in terms of points, and then X percent per month over the course of the loan. And when we close, when we sell this house, you get paid as a lender. Phenomenal way. So all that's available to you when you have a self-directed IRA. It's not there if you have a 401k. Absolutely phenomenal. We actually do that online. Yeah, I'm glad I can help out. We actually do that on our real estate group. So you can actually find us at kthomesavers.com. Selfless plug there. But we actually have ways for people to partner up with us Again, it's one of the greatest ways, I think, to help people build capital, which is great for them. It's also a plus for us, where we can actually fund more projects that we want to do. So definitely check that out. I'll be loading this video up to my website. Excuse me. I'm going to be loading it to my Facebook site at facebook.com/Kofi Ford. I'm going to be loading this up to my YouTube site. Hopefully you can tune back in, share this out with everyone you know, and hopefully they get something out of this as well that they can utilize. Welcome, Plumber Celia. Appreciate you joining. It's kthomesavers.com. kthomesavers.com. Hopefully you got that, Jay Clements, but feel free to shoot me a message on Twitter. You can connect with me on Facebook as well. Love to connect with you and help you out with any other questions that you may have. But definitely appreciate you joining online this morning. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this morning. We'll come back on tomorrow. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about opening the self-directed IRA or getting started in your own business on the side, but doing something to generate a second stream of income. Because God forbid something happened with the first stream of income. What do you do? With that, I'll leave you with that one to think on, ponder, and I will be back online tomorrow morning. Love to see more of you online. If you got any questions through any of the broadcasts that we've had, definitely shoot those out to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a phenomenal day, and have a great night as well, since I won't see you until tomorrow morning. Take care. My pleasure. Welcome for online, and look forward to seeing you as well in the future as well.